And now I'm going to give you 2 pro tips that are going to take your daily planning to the next level. I actually go a little bit back and forth, and yeah, that's basically all you need. And what normally happens is maybe you plan 1 hour to do a certain task only to find out that it actually took you 3 hours. Because let's be real, most of the things don't need to be taken care of right now. Hello fellow creator, welcome back to the channel, the best spot on YouTube for creator productivity and growth. So one of the most difficult things for me as an entrepreneur and a creator is to keep myself focused on what's important. Whether it's email, managing my team, or an accounting problem that I just have to deal with, sometimes it seems that everything is conspiring against me and my goals.
Did they conspire?
And so in those times, it's very easy to fall into this cycle of firefighting and dealing with what comes your way if you don't have a plan. Now, being a huge nerd, I have plans for everything, for the things that I want to achieve, for the projects that I want to do, both in my business and in my personal life. But there was one thing missing in this planning puzzle, and that was how to plan my days. So in this video, I'm going to give you exactly the step-by-step on how I plan my days to make sure that I don't go in that cycle of firefighting at all times, and instead focus on what's most important and making progress on my goals. So make sure you stick until the end to learn the best way to plan your days and drastically increase your productivity. So let's get started, and it all starts by answering the question, why should you plan your day? So I think in general there are 3 main reasons why you should be planning your days. First, your daily plan is going to force you to allocate a time and a place to complete each task. And now this might not seem very important, but it really makes you think about your priorities and how you are going to achieve your goals every single day. And what's more, this is going to make you less prone to procrastination because now you have a specific time to complete each of your tasks. The second reason is by planning your tasks ahead of time, you're going to reduce the stress during the day of not knowing exactly what to do next. So when I have a daily plan and I finish one task, I know exactly the next task that I should be working on. And what's more, when you have deadlines, sometimes it can become a little bit too stressful because you don't know if you'll be able to complete everything that you need to do. And so as you see that deadline closer and closer, I start to become a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious. And I don't want that feeling in my days. And I'm sure neither do you. And finally, third, you're gonna keep yourself accountable for what you plan on any given day. Although a plan might be easy to make, at the end of the day, you need to look back and see if you have completed the tasks that you said you were going to complete. And with time, you're going to learn how many tasks and how many focus hours you have per day, and then you can adjust your plan. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later on this video. And so to plan your day effectively, first you need to know about time blocking. So basically, time blocking is the idea of allocating blocks of time throughout the day for each of your tasks. Every task is going to fit into its own block without interrupting anything else. For example, I allocate 2 1-hour blocks in my mornings to perform deep work, normally doing some sort of creative writing. And so instead of working from a to-do list from a long list of tasks, which doesn't have a lot of structure, time blocking allows you to plan what you're going to achieve in a day. It forces you to be proactive and figure out how you're going to spend your time. I have a video all about time blocking. I'll make sure to link it in the description. And I want to hear from you too. Maybe you use time blocking now, or you've used it in the past. So let me know in the comments how you use time blocking, whether you like it or not, and how it changes your productivity. So now that you know about time blocking, it's time to choose the right medium. All right, so before starting to plan your days, you need to choose a medium that's going to work for you.
Choose. And choose wisely.
Now there are 2 options here. The first is a pen, piece of paper, that's all you need. And the second option is a digital version of this, which you can do in your computer. And when it comes to doing it on the digital version, I found that a simple text file is actually the best option that you can use. And the reason for that is that the text file doesn't have anything fancy, it's very easy to use, and yeah, that's basically all you need. All you need to know is that you must have your daily plan at all times, and it must be easy to look over and change anything if necessary. So if you prefer pen and paper, that's fine, as long as you can carry that notebook with you if you go someplace else, or if you want to just work in your computer, a single text file, that's all you need. I actually go a little bit back and forth. Sometimes I prefer to do it with pen and paper, and sometimes I prefer to do it in my computer. So hey, whatever works for you, everything's fine. With that out of the way, let's go into step 1 to prepare your blocks. Okay, so I'm going to give you the example of the pen and paper, but all you have to do is replicate the same idea in a text file. So open your notebook on a new page, and at the top, put the date on the day that you are scheduling. Basically, you want to use one page for one day. Then on the left side, mark every hour of your workday. And I like to do this in 1-hour blocks. So if you start working at 9 a.m., your first block is going to be from 9 to 10 a.m. And then continue to write the hours until the end of your workday. If you prefer to use a different timing for your blocks, maybe 30 minutes or maybe 2 hours, that's completely fine. Just make sure that you list all the hours of your workday. And once you've done that, you're ready for step 2 to assign tasks. So the idea here, again, according to time blocking, is to schedule every minute or every 1-hour block of your day. So go over your responsibility, you list the tasks, and assign a task for each block of the day. Now, obviously, not all the tasks are going to take 1 hour. Some tasks are going to be longer, some tasks are going to be shorter. So for example, if you have 2 tasks of 30 minutes, all you need to do is split that block into 2 parts, write the first 30-minute task on the top, and then below write the second 30-minute task.
He's a busy man.
Now, what about those smaller tasks that are going to take 5 to 10 minutes? It might be very confusing to break like an hour in so many tasks. Now, what I like to do on those kinds of tasks, and it can be anything that you can complete in like 5 to 10 minutes, checking email, updating databases, updating a spreadsheet. What I like to do is group them all together in a batching block and then schedule that batching block. So I'll choose like 1 hour block, I'll call it batching, and then I'm going to write all the small tasks that I'm going to do on that batching block. And also make sure that you leave time for breaks, for lunchtime, for exercise if you want to, and for all other personal activities. The idea is to schedule every minute of your day, but of course you always have things that you're going to need every single day, like having lunch, and so schedule that as well. And once you've done that, you're ready to move to step 3 to add notes. So the idea here is that you're going to give a little bit of context to each of your blocks. On the right side, you're going to add additional information about each task. For example, let's say that I have a meeting that's going to take 1 hour. So on the left, I'm just going to write meeting with someone. And then on the right, I'm going to write some notes about what I want to say in that meeting, what I want to discuss, where that meeting is happening, with whom I'm having that meeting, and overall what I want out of that interaction. If I'm looking at one of the 1 hour blocks in the morning for creativity, maybe I write some notes about the article that I want to write. And once you've done that, basically you planned your day. You have the time blocks, the tasks, and the notes for each task. So now let's talk a little bit about timing. So when should you plan your day? So the way I see it, there are 3 main windows for you to plan your day. At the end of your workday, at night, and when you start working in the morning. So let's talk about those. At the end of your workday, your energy is going to be low, but you are still in work mode. And that makes it a lot easier to switch to planning without losing a lot of time. And on top of that, you're going to prepare everything ahead of time for the upcoming day. And now you don't need to think about work until you sit at your desk. So for me, this is the ideal time to plan your day. I prefer to close all the loops and get everything organized before ending my workday. But sometimes you run a tight ship and you have lots of commitments at the end of your workday and really don't make the time to plan the upcoming day. And so you can always plan your day at night, because you're gonna need a few minutes to plan your day. Some people might only find time for those couple of minutes at the end of the day. And what's more is that sometimes you don't have all the information that you need at the end of your workday to know what you need to do the next day. For example, if you work with a team on different time zones, you might need to wait a little bit more to get the information from all around the world. However, planning your day at night is going to push your shutdown into the evening. So if you find it hard to switch off from work, this might not be the ideal time frame for you. So then the ideal time frame for you might be to plan your days when you actually start working. Now, this time frame is better for jobs with an uncertain schedule. If you only know your priorities in the morning, this is the best time frame for you. But because most of the people tend to have the most energy in the morning when they start working, you're going to take away precious productivity hours that you're going to spend planning instead. So whatever you do, just choose a time frame and stick with it. And with that said, let's talk about the 3 most common mistakes and how to fix them. Alright, so the concept of daily planning is simple to understand and also a very easy habit to develop. But still, so many people get frustrated and give up on daily planning altogether. Now, why is that? The first reason is wrong estimates. So one of the hardest things is trying to figure out how much time you're going to need for each task. And what normally happens is you tend to underestimate the time that you need. Maybe you plan 1 hour to do a certain task only to find out that it actually took you 3 hours. And so because of that, you'll be very stressed because you'll be trying to catch up all throughout the day. So I am a very optimistical planner. I make this mistake all the time. I plan 2 hours to do something and then it takes me 3, it takes me 4. And I don't want to be stressed throughout my day trying to play catch up. So to beat this, what I like to do is to add buffer time. And what that means is you're going to give yourself extra time to complete certain tasks, especially the ones that you've never done before. If you've done a task before and it took you 2 hours, you're pretty certain that it's going to take you 2 hours or even less the next time that you do it. But for new tasks, you really don't know. You're basically trying to predict the future. So if I have a new task and I think that it's going to take me 2 hours, I'm going to add a little bit of buffer time, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour, just in case something goes wrong and I need more time. And with the experience, you'll be able to fine-tune your buffer time. Now, another thing that I like to do are what are called conditional blocks. So what are conditional blocks? You block extra time to do a certain task. Instead of 2 hours, now you block 3, but you prepare a secondary task that you might be able to do if you finish the primary task in 2 hours. So using my previous example, I think this task is going to take 2 hours. I'm going to add buffer time and say 3 hours, but also I'm going to do a conditional block from hour 2 to hour 3 on a secondary task. And then if I complete it in 2 hours, I can move on to that secondary task. So that is the first common mistake, wrong estimations. The second one are schedule disruptions. Uncertainty is very common in a lot of jobs. If you're a manager, for example, a team member might come to you out of the blue in the middle of the day asking for your help. Now, of course, you want to follow your plan, you want to follow your time blocks, but also your job as a manager is to help your team. And because of that, it's very easy to go into damage control and just forget about your schedule. So what I like to do is instead of trying to react to uncertainty, I schedule it. I also have a team and they're gonna ask things from me. So I create time blocks throughout the day to react to problems. Because let's be real, most of the things don't need to be taken care of right now. They can wait a few hours if needed. So for me, my mornings are really important, I protect them at all costs. But after lunch, it's fair game for my team to reach me and I'll be able to help them. So if a team member comes with a problem in the morning, I'll politely ask them if that problem can wait until after lunch. And like I said, most of the times it can. And as you use your daily plans and you see how many interruptions you have normally per day, you're going to be able to fine-tune your plan and leave some time also to be interrupted. And the third common mistake is keeping track of time. So feeling lost during a given day is normal. Like any other habit, following a daily plan is going to take some time to adjust. But if you lose track of your time on a daily basis, you might be doing two things wrong. The first one is that you chose the wrong medium for you. For example, let's say that you prefer to use a digital file, a text file, and for that you're going to need access to the computer at all times. And if that's impossible for you, you might switch to pen and paper. The reverse is also true. If you forget your notebook every day at home, the digital method might be best for you. And second, you might have too many time blocks to keep track of. So as you add more and more time blocks, it becomes increasingly difficult to follow your daily plan. And so that might lead to skipping one or two smaller blocks without even noticing it, just because they are too small. And so to do that, what I like to do is try to reduce the number of blocks that I have. Instead, I'm going to create bigger blocks. I'm going to group similar activities, like I talked about the concept of batching, and that really helps because now I have fewer blocks to keep track of. And now I'm going to give you 2 pro tips that are going to take your daily planning to the next level. Alright, so the first one is to transform your daily plan into a daily log. And you do this by adding a little bit of context to each block as you perform them. To do this, transform your daily plan from a 2-column to a 3-column. So on the left, you're going to have your time blocks. On the middle, you're going to have the context of your tasks. And then on the right, you're going to add context. You're going to add your notes on how you think that task went. For example, after a meeting, you can write down how you think that meeting went. You can write a brief summary of what happened and also the projects that were given to you. And what I really like to use the daily log for is to write notes on how can improve for the next time. So for example, for this YouTube video, maybe I could write on the notes, prepare better for the next video by rereading the script a little bit more. And the second pro tip is because you've done your daily logs, you can now use them in your weekly review. And because of that, you'll be able to assess objectively what you can do to improve your results. And if you want to learn the way that I do my weekly reviews, I have a video just for you. All you have to do is click here to watch my video on how I do my weekly reviews in Rome. So click here and go watch that video right now. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.